Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with K Montes Art Studio, and we have our 2025 studio refresh. It is a disaster in here. I don't know how this happens. every time I have some type of project going on, I have a bad habit of putting things away, and then the studio just becomes a disaster. So the goal for today is to try to clean up the entire studio as much as possible, and I want to sit down in front of my cork board and reset some of my art goals. So as I've been mentioning, I've been wanting to dive into illustration a bit more and kind of explore my illustration style. So it's something that I've been wanting for years and years and years, but I've been stuck in the painter's mentality, and I haven't been able to kind of find a marriage between the two. So that's my goal for this coming year, and my goal for today is to clean this mess. Let me show you what it looks like in here. Okay, so to start, we had our 12 days of Christmas and just setting things up with my art desk, all my supplies, random things that ended up in my room. I don't know how. Another stack over here of things that I can't remember how they got there. We have art pads that haven't been put away, brushes randomly on the floor. Over here is from when I unpacked for my art vacation, art retreat. That's a little cork board that I want to update. My art cart is a disaster. At least you can see the behind the scenes of how I set things up. That's the little light that helps me see. And then down here, random things, my study area that might need to move around, and I got a loop and thread sort of crochet thing, whatever it's called. I didn't know how to do it, and I started knitting something else. Yeah, I'm exhausting looking at this. I have to kind of take care of my plants. My plants are kind of dying. I'm so sad because they've been too close to the heater and they have burn marks on them. Poor babies. So while I clean up, I'm gonna have some company. I've been obsessed with this new YouTuber that well, she's not new. She's new to me. Her name is April, and her YouTube name, I was starting to watch. Her YouTube name is Monkey Mintaka. Mintaka. I'm not sure how to say that last part, but I love her. While I clean up this area, I'm gonna watch April, and I'm gonna jump into it.
I just started putting neopasto into his media work. It's very new for me.
Happy New Year, everyone. Wow, that happened so fast. I love studio refreshes. This gives me an opportunity to kind of see what I need to do, what I want to progress on, and possibly, create a new style, all those fun things that come along with clearing up your space. So I clear up my space pretty often. I move things around. I was actually looking at my 2024 refresh from last January, and my room was totally different. I've changed my room so many times, and it's so interesting to see the progression of all the transformative ways. And when you change your space in this way, it does help to kind of create clarity, as I mentioned earlier. But I think this setup so far is one of my favorites. So of course, before I took anything any further, I had to get my manager's approval as he storms into the door and checks things out and really investigates.
Pages messy when I'm drawing. I get it. Inside of my hand here. I'm sure there's ways to do it. I try to pop in later down and drawing, especially in these sessions where I chat with people. It's really fun. That's what brings me joy, not having to do all those things in this session. Print annoying because it did transfer, and I'm just
I'm super excited for 2025. I'm actually going to take things so much slower this year, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I create better quality work, because what I've been noticing is that I'm doing things too fast, and I've always had the tendency to kind of do things fast, almost as fast as this 2 times speed. But I think slowing down and giving myself some more time to work on projects and kind of create things and look at things in a different light will hopefully help me to create better quality work. So I do want to, I've been saying this for almost 5 videos now, I do want to dive into my illustration style, and I've been studying a lot of different artists, one of them being Monkey Mintaka and April, or as she calls herself, April, which is her name. So studying different people like her, or other illustrators that I follow for many years, and just understanding like process is really important. So I do have to create a sense of process with a lot of my work that I don't do too much of with my paintings. So I'm going to try to create sketchbooks that have a lot of process work, a lot of brainstorming, note taking, which I love doing anyways, and kind of just thinking about a story, the character, maybe the scenery. And I have a couple different prompts that I have lined up for different styles. So, of course, I'm going to be very rough in the beginning, but I look forward to kind of slowly developing this illustration style over the next year. All right, so the floor is pretty much clean. I was able to kind of condense the mess to my cart and to my art desk. So I think the next step is to kind of go through all of these and store it away. I do have most of the items that are on the desk belong on the cart, and that was the purpose of doing that. Some of these things do go in other places, like my iPad storage container, my mat that I can actually, it's a mess, that I can put away now. Yeah, so this is the next step. I think I'm going to take a break. Then I'm going to kind of go through some of this stuff on my shelves. Let me show you. So some of the stuff on my shelves are still pretty organized, still pretty intact. I would say this shelf is pretty messy. This shelf is a disaster. And most of, there's like little things that need to be put away. I do want to go through some of my art supplies and possibly donate it and just kind of tidy up. There's not really much that I can do on this shelf. Like these I have to take photos of for my website. Yeah, I don't know how to really organize this. And then I'm just gonna dust and kind of wipe things out because it's very dusty in here. All right, so let's jump into it. As I was cleaning up, I had already thought of different ways of laying out my desk, so I don't know if this is going to stay there the whole time. Also, time for a hug break. This is so funny. So, yeah, I want to be able to have as much productivity in my room as possible, but I think it starts with a good sketchbooking station, and I don't think this one's it. I do want to consider moving my bookshelf over back to where my study area used to be. As I mentioned, I looked at my 2024 refresh and my bookshelf used to be over there. It kind of looked better. I don't know. I'm still debating it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, you're probably wondering why was I cleaning the wall? Well, we had a little minor construction job in here and it was dusty. There was like construction sort of bits on the wall all over, just on that particular wall, and then it was very dusty up top. So I just wanted to capture most of that dust before I started to dive into this, or maybe I'm just avoiding diving into that. But at least we have two complete walls. I also have space to kind of sit in front of the mood board or the whatever board I call this. I kind of want to tidy up some of the art there, and as I mentioned, I want to dive into this, but I'm okay with this being a little bit messy. Here's the mess that I was mentioning, but if it stays like that, I'm okay, as long as this goes away and the floor is clean. Like I have all the space to kind of spread out and maybe even get back into studying. And this is pretty nicely organized, and just a couple things I'm gonna clean on here that's bothering me, like these have to go away, and I think that's it. So as I was going through a lot of my things on my table and my art cart, I was realizing that I primarily only use the things in my art cart, and I want to go through my storage container and really add things to the art cart or take away things. I don't know. There's just so much stuff. And I've been trying to downsize, but it's been really challenging. I think the largest things on my shelves currently are my canvases, my sketchbook storage unit. In the drawers below, I don't even know what's in there. So that might be another video in the future. We'll see. So while cleaning, I found the cute little fish that reminded me of Portland, Oregon, and my friend, the Portland Art Studio. I totally forgot that I had that little fish. So cute. Happy little desk buddy that I have for my art desk. I love desk buddies. So anyways, I was mentioning that studio refreshes are really valuable to me. I think there's some things that need to be worked on still in my studio, but the point of which it's in at this moment is just enough for me. I have a lot of art supplies that I want to use, and for the most part, things that I use are everything, almost every single thing in that cart. Another goal of mine is to reach 1,000 subscribers this year, so definitely hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know your thoughts below on studio refreshes. Okay, the desk is clear. I have officially condensed all of the mess over there. I am not interested in doing that right now, but let's take a look at the whole studio. So I have my study area. I moved my easel. I am not sure what to do with that just yet, so I'll just leave it. And then I'm going to come back to my goal board, vision board, whatever. That is pretty much done. I didn't really do much, just put away a little bit of items. And the desk is cleared. I actually have to clean that cup. And then that is my list of goals that I want to transfer over to my board. I don't want to do the cart. I really don't. But the desk looks nice. The floor looks good.
Now this one definitely is going to be metallic, right? But yeah, that's metallic for sure.
I had a really good year, 2024 year. A lot of new things happen. Some changes, of course, happen. I think very productive year with my art. Every now and then there were some ebbs and flows with different art things. But overall, I would say it was an 8 out of 10 a year. And I'm looking forward to this year. I'm also looking forward to slowing down and really concentrating on quality work. That's my biggest goal. Quality work, really thinking through some of the process, exploring some of the media that I have already. I do have an art haul coming up, and I think that might be the last art haul of the year. I have entirely too many art supplies, and I think that I want to start using them. I really want to get into mixed media illustration, and I think it's time to kind of pause on the shopping and only buy things that are either needing to be replaced or new paper, new canvas, or whatever. So definitely avoiding buying things that I want. It's gonna be hard, but we'll see. I'm just gonna have to explore my cart and really treat things as if they were new and just do like certain projects with said medium and explore new ways of using other things. This is the hard part about being a mixed media artist, is that you want to have everything because you don't know what types of things could really change your art style or what kinds of things can make a project look better. But having some sort of self-control is also necessary because you will end up getting every medium possible. I have to say that I'm pretty proud that I haven't, completely bought the entire art store. So there's also that. Like, there's some mediums that I absolutely don't even think about buying. And things like spray paint, which are so tempting to me to kind of try, but I avoid things like that. Things that are highly smelly, like some oil paints. And other things that I find interesting, like knitting and some of like the fiber arts. I love watching people do that, but I try to stay away because I know it's going to end up becoming a hobby, or it's going to kind of die down and end up being in the back of a shelf somewhere, just like that thread and knit box that I bought. Couldn't figure out how to sew it or how to knit it, and I ended up creating a mini scarf. So those are the things that I try to avoid. Overall, I think I have probably the best art collection that I've ever had in my life. When I first started as an artist, I only had Liquitex basic acrylics and a lot of brushes because I used to go through my brushes a lot, but that's all I thought I needed. I was not a mixed media artist back then, and just having the acrylic paints was all I wanted. I did have a couple oils, but once I like branched out into different mediums, it was over. I loved everything. That only took forever. It's clean. I have all my markers down at the bottom. Actually, down here I have all my palettes. So this is all markers. This is paints and some dry medium. I have things that I often use, so like my little travel thing. Here I have some markers and pencils. Here's my other little travel thing, my go-to tools, water container. I have some inks. This I don't use too often. So these, I don't know if you saw, but they were really dry gouache. And the gouache was Artex, I believe. I can't remember. They were actually not Van Gogh. It's just a Van Gogh container, but the gouache is so dry. Very crumbly. So I don't know if I'm going to keep that because I don't use it too often. It's not my favorite. I have my Dark Night, White Night palette. I think it's called White Night. My gouache palette. And then in here I have some like water soluble wooden pencils that I might get rid of. And some Sculpey that I was planning on making earrings, but I got distracted. So the only thing that does not fit is my new Blick half sticks, and there are a couple other things that I just ordered, which I'm kind of regretting. So we'll see how that art haul goes. That should be up before this. I don't know if it's gonna fit on the cart. So the goal is to kind of just use everything that's on the cart. I also have these awesome Posca pens that I need to get into. I love this new setup. And I was able to kind of make both sides. So if you can see it from the top view, I used to have these little things on either side, but now it can just sit up flat and not have to kind of bump into things. And this looks good. So here I have brushes, some tools, random things actually, all my pens and sort of utensils, my Poscas, Faber-Castell water brushes, all my watercolor palettes. Actually, this one is a watercolor palette that I made. And that's it. I have some materials that I definitely want to dive into, like my flash paint. I want to dive into these kind of water-soluble Faber-Castell sticks that I didn't get to use too much. I have some fun ideas. Oh, and then here's an empty box of my luminance pencils because they live in one of those. So I'm going to store that away just in case if I need to put it back in there. And then the rest of this here is recycle. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this little studio refresh. These are my favorite videos to do. Just having some time to kind of refresh your space, really think about the things you want to create. And I think it's super important to have the best, most clean space ever to kind of get started. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.